Mess is Mine. This very special edition of Radio Bravery Live is dedicated to my best friend, the love of my life, the girl who gave me this little guy. The show is dedicated to you, Chloe. Today's episode of Radio Bravery Live is entitled Hear and Howl. 2018 will be a beautiful, beautiful year. When you think of love, do you think of pain? I've never been more in love. I've never been more confident. I've never been happier. I've never been more excited for the future. 2018 is going to be a beautiful, beautiful year.
Darling, this body is yours. This body is yours and mine. Well, hold on, my darling. This mess was yours.
Woke up this morning and I wrote myself a love song. I'm going to be recording that later today.
Walking round at 8 a.m. Got 2 hours before my flight.
The special, very, very, very special edition of Radio Bravery Live is dedicated to love, confidence, patience, lack of shame, living unabashedly, and being fully, confidently in love with the future. This is going to be a beautiful, beautiful year. This episode of Radio Bravery is entitled Hear and Howl. And that is in reference to the wolf moon on the first day of 2018, January 1st, 2018 was a beautiful day, and today is a beautiful day as well. And man, I am so excited for the future. I'm so excited for today. I'm so happy. I'm about to go to a job interview after this special edition of Radio Bravery, and then I'm gonna play a love song after that and record that, and got a very big full packed day. 2018 is gonna be a beautiful year, folks. We'll get to some news here in a second. But first we gotta hear this whole beautiful song. This is Vance Joy, Your Mess is Mine. And that's just the way it goes. My shoulders are stronger now. My mess is mine, and your mess is mine. I've got nothing to put on anyone else. I have shoulders of strength. I am a true man today. I feel confident and happy, and we're howling at the moon today. Hear and howl. Mess is mine. This is Justin Belshaw. You're watching Radio Bravery Live, youtube.com/RadioBravery. And again, that was Vance Joy bringing us in with Mess is Mine, because your mess is mine and my mess is mine. And I've got the strong shoulders to prove it today, the confidence to prove it, and I am very, very excited for the new year 2018. Let's go to this first article about the wolf moon. This is from dailymail.com. How bright can it get? Cities across the United States and the rest of the world are lit up by rare wolf moon that will be the biggest of the year. Now that's what we call, between my friends and I, a Luke joke. How bright can it get? How bright can it get? I thought that was pretty funny, but that's why, kind of why I entitled this Hear and Howl, and also because that beautiful song Mess is Mine had a little howling in it, and I was driving to the airport with my best friend, and we saw that wolf moon, and it was absolutely beautiful. And it's just going to be an incredible year. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. How bright can it get? Cities across the United States and the rest of the world are lit up by rare wolf moon that will be the biggest of the year. A supermoon ushered in the new year as it lit up the skies across the world and reached its peak Monday. The first full moon of 2018 will reach its peak January 1st and 2nd around 2:24 a.m. Experts from NASA believe the blue moon, blood moon, supermoon rising on January 31st will be the most extraordinary of all recent supermoons, which are also known as wolf moons. Now that brings me to timeanddate.com/astronomy, which has the definitions, meanings, and descriptions of the moons. January wolf moon, the first full moon of the year, is named after howling wolves. In some cultures, it was known as the old moon, ice moon, snow moon, or moon after Yule. The wolf moon on the night between January 1st and 2nd, 2018, is a supermoon. The following full moon is in January on the 31st. It is given no name, which makes it a blue moon. However, this particular blue moon will likely look red in some areas because it will cause a total lunar eclipse, also known as blood moon. So yeah, that was a very incredible moon. The howling wolves in January. The January full moon is often called wolf moon. Others call it old moon, ice moon, and snow moon, although its name is usually attributed to the February full moon. While the almanac states that wolf moon is a Native American name, other sources claim its Anglo-Saxon origins. In Anglo-Saxon culture, the January full moon is also called moon after Yule, which is the time of an ancient festival celebrating winter solstice around December 22nd. Regardless of where the name wolf moon comes from, wolves howl to communicate over long distances, both in North America and Europe. It is a way of saying, "Here I am," to the rest of the pack, or to stay away to intruders. So that's how we rang in the new year here. As wolves ourselves, we howled, "Here I am." And that is where I am today, and that's where the show is today. And we are going to howl all year through 2018. Here I am. Here I am. This is me. I am confident, unabashed, beautiful, brilliant, and happy, and so are you. Thank you so much for joining me on this beautiful, very special edition of Radio Bravery Live. That was the breakdown of the wolf moon for you. This show is called Hear and Howl, and the next article we're going to cover here is actually from CNN.com. Very fake news. But the headline will probably blow you away. It's entitled, "Trump is Right About the FBI." Wow. Well, we are seeing a turn of the tides, folks. So the turntables. Trump is right about the FBI. This is by Paul Callan from CNN.com. Paul Callan is a legal analyst for CNN, a New York homicide prosecutor, and current counsel at the New York law firm Edelman and Edelman. It goes on to say here, the ferocity of President Donald Trump's recent attacks on the integrity of the FBI has sent shockwaves through an agency accustomed to public adulation in recent years. Sadly, much of the presidential criticism of the Bureau may be entirely legitimate. The FBI has traditionally enjoyed a highly favorable reputation among a majority of the nation's citizens, despite controversial programs that sometimes employed illegal forms of surveillance and enforcement methods, such as those used on black citizens lawfully protesting racial segregation. Like Larry Pinckney. They had a file on Larry Pinckney saying that he needed to be neutralized because of his ability to unify black and white people in America. That is basically a quote from the FBI file of Larry Pinckney. He needed to be neutralized because he would unify black and white people in America, and he's constantly on the Alex Jones show doing just that, unifying black and white people. Despite controversial programs that sometimes employed illegal forms of surveillance and enforcement methods, such as those used on black citizens lawfully protesting racial segregation, individuals in the Red Scare of the 1950s and long-haired students protesting the war in Vietnam during the 1960s and 70s, this reputation endured. And American presidents continued to steadfastly defend the Bureau, that is, until now. The tradition of presidential support was unquestionably grounded, at least partially, in the fear of J. Edgar Hoover's rumored 50-year political skeleton dossier, which would undoubtedly make the controversial Steele dossier look like child's play. But Hoover is gone now, and President Trump's persistent attacks have the potential to inflict long-lasting reputational damage to the nation's preeminent law enforcement agency. These criticisms focus largely on FBI fumbles and missteps in the Hillary Clinton and Trump-Russia investigations, which the president suggests were deliberate attempts to sabotage his election and administration. Trump supporters and possibly the president himself say that they see the workings of a conspiratorial deep state, liberal embedded bureaucracy fiercely resisting any conservative change. So that is coming out of actually CNN.com. It goes on to say some of Trump's recent criticisms of the agency relate to alleged activities of FBI agent Peter Strzok and FBI lawyer Lisa Page. An investigation by the Justice Department's Inspector General revealed that two exchanged text messages strongly indicative of anti-Trump and pro-Clinton bias, while Strzok played a critical role in the Clinton investigation and subsequent lesser role in Mueller's Trump-Russia probe. A CNN reporter in a news article after the text message controversy erupted wrote that an attorney for Strzok did not respond to a request for comment. In addition, the president continues to call the Russia investigation a witch hunt and to castigate the agency's deputy director, Andrew McCabe, for alleged bias and incompetence. Last Saturday, the president tweeted that former FBI Director James Comey, whom he fired, is a liar and called him Leakin' James Comey. Oh man, I love Trump's nicknames. Leakin' James Comey. You're leaking, James Comey. Leaking. Trump also issued a clearly derogatory "wow" comment regarding the unexplained reassignment of FBI's General Counsel James Baker, reportedly a close friend of Comey's. So that is out of CNN.com. Don't tell me I'm biased, folks, because I go to all the news, even the mainstream media, even the old dinosaur media like CNN. Then we've got this one out of thenation.com. RussiaGate is devolving into an effort to stigmatize dissent. An amicus brief to a lawsuit filed against Roger Stone and the Trump campaign raises troubling questions over the right to political speech. Yes. Of all the various twists and turns of the year and a half-long national drama known as RussiaGate, the effort to marginalize and stigmatize dissent from the consensus Russia-Trump narrative, particularly former intelligence and national security officials and operatives, is among the more alarming. An invasion of privacy lawsuit filed July 2017 by a former DNC official and two Democratic donors alleged that they suffered significant distress and anxiety and will require lifelong vigilance and expense because their personal information was exposed as a result of the email hack of the DNC, which the suit claims was part of a conspiracy between Roger Stone and the Trump campaign. Yeah. According to a report in the New York Times published at the time of the suit's filing, I mean, come on, Roger Stone, the guy who has been in the spotlight as a political provocateur for 40 years, this guy is now all of a sudden conspiring with Russia to get your emails out in the public, to hack the DNC. How would Roger Stone... Oh, he was working with WikiLeaks. Yeah, WikiLeaks just decided for the first time to start working with Americans, even though WikiLeaks, the only people they've ever worked with is Glenn Greenwald, and you know how that went. He basically almost went to prison, so nobody would even touch WikiLeaks or work with them. Roger Stone has denied meeting with WikiLeaks or anything like that, or getting any information with WikiLeaks. The only thing that was ever said is that Julian Assange told people that he was going to release the email hacks, which he did, and he released them. Julian Assange, WikiLeaks. It has nothing to do with Roger Stone or the Trump campaign. But yeah, there's a lawsuit against Roger Stone claiming, oh, he is the guy, yeah. Roger Stone, who is has been in the political arena for 40 years. He's not very technologically savvy, folks. I don't think he's involved in any hackings of anything. I think the only hacking he would be doing is hacking a paper file. According to a report in the New York Times published at the time of the suit's filing, Mr. Trump and his political advisors, including Mr. Stone, have repeatedly denied colluding with Russia. In the 44-page complaint filed on Wednesday in the Federal District Court of the District of Columbia, does not contain any hard evidence that his campaign did. In a new development in early December 14th, former high-ranking U.S. intelligence and national security officials, including former Deputy Secretary of State William Burns, former FBI Director John Brennan, former Director of National Intelligence James Clapper, and former Ambassador to Russia Michael McFaul, a longtime proponent of democracy promotion, which presumably includes free speech, filed an amicus brief as part of the lawsuit. The amicus brief purports to explain to the court how Russia deploys active measures that seek to undermine confidence in democratic leaders and institutions, sow discord between the United States and its allies, discredit candidates for office perceived as hostile to the Kremlin, influence public opinion against U.S. military, economic, and political programs, and create distrust for confusion over sources of information. Now, again, I've said this dozens of times. If the Kremlin really wanted someone in office and wanted to manipulate our elections, they would have put Hillary Clinton in office, because she's already been handing them over millions of dollars of our uranium illegally and helping them for years as Secretary of State. Why would he want to put Donald Trump in, who wants to take money from Russia, take money from China, take jobs from all over the country and build our country great again? I mean, it makes absolutely zero sense, folks, but they're going to continue on this as long as they can because they don't have anything else. They already tried saying that, oh, he's incompetent, mentally incompetent, but he's sharp as a knife at 71 years old. Nothing's going to work. You can keep throwing things at the wall, but they're not going to stick. So this next article we're going to move on to is from the WashingtonTimes.com. House expands Russia probe to FBI justice use of unconfirmed dossier to snare Trump. Uh-oh. I told you this was coming. I told you this was coming. I told you that they were going to investigate Hillary Clinton, Peter Strzok, Robert Mueller, James Comey. Yeah, you're all under investigation now. You are under investigation. You try to investigate Trump with your fake claims about Russia when really you've been colluding with Uranium One and stealing our Oregon uranium and selling it to the Russians. Oh, yeah. Well, now the House Intelligence Committee is researching and investigating you. The House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence has expanded its 2016 election investigation from a starting point of Russia interference to an endgame that focuses on federal law enforcement and how it conducted a drive to snare President Trump and his people. Committee Chairman Devin Nunes, California Republican, is accusing the Justice Department and the FBI of misleading him in a pattern of behavior that can no longer be tolerated. He charges the Justice claimed it he charges the justice claimed it possesses no documents related to the infamous Trump dossier, then, under pressure, produced numerous such papers. Republicans in the first half of 2018 are likely to wind down the starting point inquiry into Russia hacking of Democrats and whether Trump aides helped. Representative Adam Schiff of California, the committee's top Democrat, already is protesting the likely move. He is pushing an extended list of witnesses he wants summoned by Republicans who suspect Mr. Schiff would like to see the probe stay active into November's midterm elections and beyond. Democrats, including Mr. Schiff, have conceded in recent weeks that their hope of finding an extensive Russia-Trump conspiracy to jointly attack former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton has fallen short at this point. Yeah, because it's been going on for 8 months and they still have nothing. Nothing, nothing, nothing. I'm sorry to just give you the cold, hard facts. They have nothing. No collusion. The only collusion is involving uranium. One, and that is Robert Mueller and Hillary Clinton. They were illegally, against our country, selling and stealing our uranium to Russia. On tarmacs, ordered by Hillary Clinton, Robert Mueller met on a tarmac and gave our uranium a silver, what do you call those super, James Bond silver briefcase. Yeah, he gave one of those to someone from Russia on a tarmac. And yeah, that is the Uranium One scandal right there, folks. Just do your own research. Think for yourself. Don't trust me. Trust your gut. Do your own research. Goes on to say here, there are 3 main components. Fusion GPS, the Democrat-friendly opposition research firm, and Mr. Nunes have squared off in U.S. District Court over access to Fusion's financial transactions, which they don't want to give up. Fusion funded the infamous Trump-Russia dossier by Christopher Steele with money from Miss Clinton's campaign and the DNC. Yeah, they did. They funded a fake dossier about Trump getting peed on by a Russian prostitute, which was totally a lie, and it was written by Christopher Steele, who was talking to Nellie Orr. There is so much collusion on this side of the Democrats with Russia and this British spy Christopher Steele and Fusion GPS, and they're all just paying each other off back and forth. And then you got Peter Strzok over here taking it to the FISA court illegally, just trying to meddle in our elections and meddle against the vote of the United States people. And it is absolutely treasonous. It is so beyond what you can even imagine. Truth is so much stranger than fiction in this situation. It is all going to come out, and these people are going to go to prison. All they had to do is just shut up and walk away and let us take the election as we want it. But now it's going to come out that they fraudulently stole it from Bernie. It's going to come out that they tried to steal 6 other states. It's going to come out that they illegally, treasonously tried to meddle in the election with crap like this dossier. And all they had to do is just let it go. Let us take the country back and let us make America great again with jobs, the economy, growth, lowest unemployment in 17 years, lowest black unemployment in 17 years, lowest Latino unemployment in the history of our country, the Dow breaking over 50 records throughout the year. All they had to do is just let our country get to where it should be. All they had to do is let our people be free and let us vote for what we want and let us be positive and happy and come together and unify. But instead they want to divide us, they want to conquer us, and they don't want to let go. They're bitter clingers, and it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. You have no collusion other than Hillary and Mueller and the fake Democratic Party. And it's all going to come out this year, folks. It's going to be a great year. The FBI and the dossier Republicans want to know how the document's unconfirmed felony accusations fueled the Bureau's counterintelligence investigation since July 2016. Investigative bias. The committee is demanding appearances from justice officials who seemed out to get Mr. Trump and or had ties to the dossier's distribution. Like, for example, Peter Strzok saying he couldn't just allow this to happen. He had to do something, and basically saying he was going to meddle in the election. That's treason. That is election tampering, electioneering, and yeah, we're not going to stand for it. It's all going to come out. So we will just move forward from that, and we will continue to cover it every day as more and more comes out, like this one from ZeroHedge.com. Huma Abedin forwarded top-secret passwords to Yahoo account hacked by Russian with odd Clinton connection. Like I said, folks, all of the Russia connections are from Hillary Clinton. It's just a fact. It's just true. There more and more and more collusion comes out every day between Hillary and the Russians. And that's why they won't let up on this, because they don't want you to find out about their connections to Russia. So like, Trump's a Russian agent, Trump's a Russian agent, I'm not a Russian agent, Trump's a Russian agent. But they are the Russian colluders, folks. It is the DNC. They've been colluding with Russia for years. Huma Abedin forwarded a trove of sensitive emails to her personal Yahoo account, including passwords to government systems. Before every single Yahoo account was affected by a massive hack attack conducted by a Russian security expert employed by the same Moscow bank that gave former President Bill Clinton $500,000 for a speech in 2010. Wow. 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 That is just interesting, isn't it? Let me just read that for you one more time. Huma Abedin forwarded a trove of sensitive emails to her personal Yahoo account, including passwords to government systems. Before every single Yahoo account was affected by a massive hack attack conducted by a Russian security expert. Employed by the same Moscow bank that gave former President Bill Clinton $500,000 for a speech in 2010. Interesting. So there's another Russia connection right there. As Hillary Clinton's deputy chief of staff at the State Department, Abedin sent passwords for her government laptop to Yahoo account on August 24th, 2009, according to an email released in September 2017. Why would she be sending her own passwords from her laptop to a Yahoo account? And just so happens, coincidentally, all Yahoo accounts get hacked by Russia just right after. Oh my goodness. You cannot make this up, folks. You cannot make this up. You look at these emails right here. It just says, password. Abedin, password. She says, oh, there's my passwords. Oh, lordy. Oh, lordy, lordy, lordy. So that is from ZeroHedge.com. That's breaking today. Let's go to this next one. This next article is the front page of DrudgeReport.com. Actually, I'm going to open the DrudgeReport.com because their headline is hilarious. CNN Stoner Year. Bong lessons on News Network. Journalism gone wild. Oh my god. CNN Stoner Year, Bong lessons on News Network, journalism gone wild. And then you got newsbusters.com here, or newsbusters.org. Riding the cannabis, CNN aids stoners with gas mask bong rips. Oh my goodness. This is how low CNN is going for viewers right now. They're begging, please, we'll put on gas mask, bongs, anything. We'll smoke weed and get super stoned. Who cares about the news? Even without the deplorable Kathy Griffin, CNN was still able to send off 2017 like only they can, with a reporter riding the so-called cannabis through Denver, Colorado, wearing pot leaf earrings and helping stoners take bong rips. With less than 2 hours until midnight, New Year's Eve live co-hosts Anderson Cooper and Andy Cohen wanted an update from reporter Randy Kay, who was partying with potheads. I want to go to Randy Kay. She's joining us along with, well, she's in Colorado, where I guess recreational marijuana use Cooper started before getting crassly cut off by Cohen. She's surrounded by weed. It's doing great. I'm definitely earning the nickname Kush K. That's for sure. Kay enthusiastically shouted while sporting a pair of large pot leaf earrings. With great gusto, she declared that she came prepared and brandished a gas mask equipped with orange bong where an air filter would be. So listen, I came prepared this year. I thought maybe I would bring a gas mask and I wouldn't get contact high. But look at that. Look at what's on the other end of the gas mask. Yes, it's a bong. And of course, they couldn't stand to see a bong that didn't have any cannabis in it, so you actually put it in the bong. While Cooper was burying his face in his hands with visible embarrassment, Kay handed the contraption off to one man who she urged to take a rip and lit it for him. Oh my goodness, this is where CNN has gone. Then you have unidentified stoner. Yeah, we packed it. We packed the bong. Okay, you packed it. Okay, so now you're going to celebrate New Year's a little early. Unidentified stoner. I'm going to be honest with you, I've never hit one of these before. Okay, yeah, right. I don't think this is really what a gas mask is used for, but wow, okay, this is New Year's Eve Denver style. Puff past paint. Oh yeah, so that is where CNN has landed, from fake news to stoner bus, taking bong rips from a gas mask and aiding other people to get stoned on this cannabis. Wow. Meanwhile, while the world turns, CNN's on a stoner bus. Incredible. Now we're going to go to this interview from Roger Stone on C-SPAN. Roger Stone destroys Dem talking points in epic C-SPAN interview. A must-see video shows why Roger Stone is banned on globalist media, including Twitter. Yeah, folks, I'm not sure if you knew, they did ban Roger Stone on Twitter. So let's go to this interview so you can see the reason why Roger Stone is banned on Twitter.
From New York on C-SPAN's Newsmakers program is Roger Stone, a longtime Republican strategist and the author of The Making of the President 2016, How Donald Trump Orchestrated a Revolution. Thank you very much for being with us.
Great to be here. My thanks to C-SPAN for this opportunity.
And joining us with the questioning is Michael Isikoff of Yahoo News, chief investigative reporter, and Tom Liabianco, who is with the Associated Press, reporter who covers politics and Washington, D.C. And Mr. Stone, let me begin with the issue of Robert Mueller. Do you suspect that he is preparing charges against the president?
Well, I believe that his inquiry is politically motivated. I think that we've seen extraordinary evidence in the last couple weeks, the tweets, the email records, the contributions to Democrats that indicate that his is a partisan hit squad. I think this is a political proceeding rather than a legal proceeding. And I have said that I believe that the president's lawyers are naive about Mr. Mueller's intentions. I think they misunderstand the deep enmity that the political establishment in both parties has for the president and their absolute resolve to remove him on any pretext whatsoever. To me, a strategy of just turning over hundreds of thousands of documents, waiving executive privilege, and relying on the innate fairness of Robert Mueller is a foolish strategy. So I think that we have to see what comes out of General Flynn's plea deal. General Flynn has said that a senior member of the president's transition team directed him to contact the Russian ambassador to set up a meeting, a perfectly legal action on General Flynn's part. So perhaps Mr. Mr. Mueller is preparing an indictment of others. It's interesting to me that if Mr. Mueller should proceed against the president or any of his associates, to me it appears that it would be at some kind of process-related indictment, perjury, obstruction, nothing relating specifically to collusion with the Russians to affect the outcome of the election.
Do you think there is anything in the president's tax returns that could lead to charges?
I absolutely do not. I have long thought that perhaps the president isn't putting his tax returns out because the total income, while would be extraordinary for the rest of us, perhaps not as large as some people might expect. But if you go back to the campaign, I have long thought that the president should put his tax returns out to lay this to rest. We know that he took legitimate deductions for losses on a very large scale, but that's the tax code. If you don't like the tax code, you can change the tax code. As a savvy developer and businessman, the president has taken advantage of the perfectly legitimate tax laws in that area. But I don't think there's any business relationship with Russian entities or anything of that type.
Let me turn to Michael Isikoff of Yahoo News.
Yeah, yes. So just to follow up on the Mueller issue, you just wrote in the Daily Caller that my advice to the president is he must completely disempower and dismantle Mueller's fraudulent rogue prosecution gang. So to be clear, first, have you spoken to the president about this, and have you specifically told him he should fire Mueller?
Well, I don't believe that that he should fire Mueller, so I would not have told him that, and I haven't told him that. I believe that the president should ignore the incorrect advice of his attorneys, who appear to have told him that he doesn't have the authority to issue directives to the Attorney General of the United States. The Department of Justice is an extension of the executive branch. The president should order the Attorney General, Mr. Sessions, to appoint a special counselor in the matter of Uranium-1. That would necessarily put Mr. Mueller, Mr. Comey, Mr. McCabe,
Absolutely, it's all about Uranium-1,
Mr. Rosenstein
folks. That's all
under
you gotta
immediate
do.
federal investigation. And I cannot see how they could proceed in their current jobs under that circumstance.
All right, well, before we get to the Uranium-1, though, I'm a little confused because you wrote he should completely disempower and dismantle Mueller's
I think it would
gang,
have,
but
I think it,
but now you're saying he shouldn't fire him. So how does he completely disempower and dismantle?
Shut up, Michael
the
Isikoff.
I think
prosecution team?
Look at Michael Isikoff trying to entrap him and corner him by saying, "Well, this is what you said. This is what you said." He's like, "I know what I said. I never said the words fire. Did I ever say fire? I said dismantle and disempower. Do you know how you do that, buddy? Do you know? I just told you. We will hire a special counsel to investigate them, and they will have no ability to continue in their investigation because they will be being investigated. That is how you disempower and dismantle." He literally just said it, and now he's going to repeat it again, the exact same thing, because Michael Isikoff is a total dumbass and can't even hear or listen or anything. He just wants to repeat talking points over and over again. But you said, but you said, but you said, but you said. Shut up, Michael Isikoff, you dumb idiot.
By the appointment of a special prosecutor in Uranium One, my article goes on with the etymology of that scandal. I think it would be impossible for Mueller to to proceed. Therefore, I think he would be checkmated, and therefore it would have that effect.
Have you given this advice directly to the president?
I have not.
Who cares?
Tom LoBianco of the Associated Press.
This is the dumbest question.
Roger, thanks for doing this.
You
I want to
suck. That's
follow
why
up
you run
on
Yahoo News.
Steve's
Michael
opening
Isikoff.
question. It sounds like you're saying yes to that, to the question of whether there will be some type of charges against the president for whatever the reason, political, legal, justified, what have you. But it does seem like your answer is yes. Is that correct? Is that where we're headed?
Well, that is my concern. That is what I fear. I believe it would be a trumped-up, process-related charge, and given the erosion in public confidence and the exposures about the partisan nature of this inquiry in the last couple weeks, whether Mr. Mueller could sustain that in the court of public opinion remains to be seen. The president, as you know, has been told by his lawyers that he will get a letter exonerating him on matters pertaining to Russian collusion. First it was by Thanksgiving, then Christmas, then the first of the year. Now I read they're saying February. I just think it underestimates the resolve and the partisan nature of this inquiry. Let me be clear, I don't think the president has committed any crime whatsoever. I think that this is a political proceeding, the first step of a potential coup d'etat based on the deep resentment and enmity for the fact that this president is an outsider and he is pushing a reform agenda that upsets many among the elites in both parties.
Roger, let me hop in on that that coup part. So you're working on a book about this, right? The 25th Amendment and the potential for removal of the president. That's correct.
Well, I may be.
Okay.
Interestingly enough, Vanity Fair reported that I was working on a book entitled "The Downfall of Donald Trump." I never said that.
Okay.
And I never used those words, and to their credit, they made a correction.
Okay.
If the president is taken down either by Mr. Mueller in what I would consider to be a rogue effort, or in some kind of trumped-up 25th Amendment move, you see Joe Scarborough and Senator Corker and Don Lemon and others increasingly saying he's crazy, he's insane, he's mentally unbalanced. That's all nonsense. He is the same person I've known for 40 years. He's sharp as a tack. He has his own, shall we say, unique style. But you see that as the plan B for the establishment. Now, this is a book I hope that I do not have to write. In fact, my next book, which I have to turn into my publisher on the first of the year, is Stone's Rules, which has nothing to do with this subject, but more a book of maxims that I have, kind of delineated through a long career in public life and in politics. So it's a book I hope I don't have to write, but if I did write it, I would title it The Unmaking of the President, and it is based on my concerns. There was some confusion about that piece, but again, I'm merely predicting that this could happen. Again, it's a book I hope I don't have to write.
Have you been questioned or contacted by Mueller's team?
I have not.
They have not reached out to you at all?
That's what he just said.
No, they have not.
This guy is
I've
the worst questions
as you know,
I've ever heard.
Mike, because we've talked about this, had any contact with any Russians or those fronting for the Russians. And as I understand it, their charge is looking into collusion by the Russians in the election. Any other questions that they may have pertaining to WikiLeaks or any other matter, they can simply read my extensive under oath statement before the House Intelligence Committee, which I think I addressed all those questions extensively.
Well, the one issue that you didn't address in your testimony to the House was who it was that was your intermediary with Julian Assange when you began tweeting over the summer that WikiLeaks was going to be releasing damaging emails about John Podesta and Hillary Clinton. Now, that individual has since been identified as Randy Credico, a New York comic and radio talk show host. Was he, in fact, the person you were talking to who was giving you a heads up on what Julian Assange was going to be releasing?
Well, that's a mischaracterization of his role. I ultimately did, in a follow-up, supply Mr. Credico's name to the committee. I initially did not do so because I feared professional reprisal against him should his name be known, and indeed he was terminated from his position at WBAI. His role is very narrow, and you'll be familiar with it. He is a confirming source. On July 21st, Assange said in a speech that he had extensive materials on Hillary Clinton and he would publish them. Before that, I included that in my own column and in a broadcast for InfoWars. I wanted a confirmation. He simply confirmed it. Now, to be clear, he didn't tell me the source of Mr. Assange's information, the content or topic of the information. He merely confirmed that WikiLeaks had explosive information on Hillary Clinton, which they would publish, and they did.
How many conversations?
Mr. Credico is a journalist, and as you know, I believe Assange is a journalist. I don't see anything improper in any of that, and I ultimately decided to supply that name.
How many conversations did you have with Randy Credico about Julian Assange's intentions about
Why are you asking this question? Who cares how many conversations you had?
I had multiple conversations, but essentially I had the same conversation multiple times. He told me in late August that this would happen. He told me through September it would happen, through the beginning of October when it, in fact, the material was published.
Let me follow up on your earlier point about the campaign against Robert Mueller and also what we're seeing from the left. You talked about Joe Scarborough. Is there a concerted effort by Fox News, by Sean Hannity, and by some of the president's supporters to discredit Robert Mueller before he comes to any conclusion?
Well, facts are facts. Thanks to the good work of Judicial Watch, thanks to InfoWars and crusading journalists like Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson, Judge Jeanine Pirro, Judge Napolitano, and others, we've learned an extraordinary amount of things. It seems that the folks in the Justice Department were so arrogant that they betrayed their deep animus and hatred for Donald Trump in official emails and tweets and other records, I guess assuming that Hillary Clinton would be elected and they'd be able to cover that all up. So all those folks...
All right, so we're going to stop it right there. That is just an incredible interview. I'm not sure exactly how long it goes on. Looks like it goes on for quite a while, almost about 30 minutes or so. Yeah, a little over 30 minutes there. We played about 15 minutes of it, but that is the C-SPAN interview with Roger Stone, Office Special Counsel, not a rehab for malcontented partisan lawyers. Oh, just incredible. That is why they're scared of Roger Stone, you guys. He is so articulate, so well-versed, so informative, and just has... I mean, so much information and knowledge. That guy is incredible. And can you believe he's working for Infowars.com now? Working with Alex Jones, unfiltered, unabashed, and just so articulate. That guy is incredible. I don't think he's perfect. I don't think he's a perfect man. But, you know, he's correct. He's got the information. Knowledge is power, so... that's why I follow him, and that's why I respect him. Now let's move to this next article from thehill.com, as we're running a little short on time here. The more we learn about Amtrak derailment, the stranger it gets, as retired National Transportation Safety Board Railroad and Rapid Transit let me just start over there. As a retired National Transportation Safety Board Railroad and Rapid Transit Accident Investigator, man, that's a title. The more I hear about the December 18th derailment of Washington State Sound Transit Cascade Train 501, the stranger it gets. Confirmed facts seem to be very few so far. The National Transportation Safety Board is investigating the accident, which killed 3 people and injured more than 50 others, and is still trying to determine the probable cause and prevent such accidents in the future. People have an innate need to know, particularly with unexpected public transportation accidents, as part of their own sense of security and trust. The sooner we know, the better. But we could be waiting for a while before we hear from the safety board about what led to the derailment. The length of time the safety board has taken to produce the facts, let alone a public report, has greatly lengthened over the past 2 decades, mostly due to safety board management. An accident investigation has gone from 9 months to over 2 years for a major investigation such as this accident. The prolonged process has been sold to Congress and to the public as a way to produce more thorough reports and recommendations, although the success of these efforts is debatable. In the interim, the public is left guessing. At this point in the investigation, the field phase safety board investigators work fairly quickly to garner the facts, which will be consolidated into a single report. After this stage, the process slows down, especially with high-profile accident investigations involving public hearings and senior-level managers. Ultimately, a final report is far in the future. With this accident, there appears to be a number of safety issues, including the choice of costs associated with the railroad route itself. The most important looks like human performance safety issues. The derailment occurred on the first day of higher speed service. The propriety of conducting such training on the inaugural run of the service is debatable. Railroad Union hearsay alleges that 2 locomotive engineers lost track where they were because much, if not all, previous route qualification training had taken place at night when busy freight railroad traffic could accommodate the luxury of non-revenue passenger train on multiple training runs. As a result, on the maiden run, the 2 engineers had difficulty associating daytime landmarks with their ever-changing location. To a large extent, this is the main tool engineers use to track their location. The environment's physical characteristics are crucial to knowing one's location, just like we drive our cars. However, there are additional aids available depending on the train control systems in place. In addition, there are allegations that these prior night training sessions had upwards of 6 people in the locomotive cab in order to qualify as many engineers as possible to operate trains along the route in the short amount of available time before service started. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. Basically, I have 0 facts of why it happened, but a lot of this could be with the rushing of training and rushing of having 6 different people training at the same time, and they were training at night. They really hadn't even driven these speeds ever in the daylight, and so I don't know. This is just all very unsafe. And all I know is I'm not going to be riding Amtrak anytime soon, that is for sure. This next article we're going to move towards is from the dailycaller.com. German political leader under police investigation over tweets about Muslim rape gang. A member of the far-right German political party AfD is being investigated over an incendiary New Year's Eve tweet that casts Muslims as violent and rapacious. Yeah, well, most of them are in Germany. Beatrix von Storch, a member of the German parliament and deputy leader of Germany's far-right AfD party, accused the Cologne police of pandering to barbaric gang-raping Muslim hordes of men after the department sent out a celebratory tweet in Arabic to ring in the new year. Yeah, they absolutely are pandering to them as these gangs of men go and single out women and rape them over and over and over and over again in public, on video, with no one doing anything, no police stepping in because they can't, because they have no ability to. They don't even show up to their police departments in certain areas in Germany now. Von Storch's Twitter account was suspended for 12 hours Monday, saying her message violated their rules. She then posted the message to Facebook, where it was blocked. The police are now investigating whether von Storch's tweet constitutes incitement to hatred, a criminal charge under Germany's hate speech laws. But gang raping women, dozens of men gang raping a woman, that's not incitement to hatred. No. Just let that go on. No big deal. But this tweet, put her in jail. The AfD defended von Storch's characterization of Muslims. AfD leader Alice Weidel wrote on Facebook that authorities were submitting to imported, marauding, groping, abusive, knife-stabbing migrant mobs. Cologne was racked by dozens of rapes during their New Year celebration 2 years ago. There was over 1,000 rapes, actually, 2 years ago in one day, most of which were reported committed by men of Arab or North African descent. Berlin addressed the issue assaults during New Year's Eve festivals by creating a woman-only zone, women's safety zone, where they can run to and hide if they're being attacked by rape gangs. They just have a women's safety zone there in Berlin. That's how you address it. Don't address the rapists. Let's pander to them and send out tweets in Arabic wishing them a happy new year. And then you know what the women did after thousands of women have been raped? They went and gave the Muslims roses to try and make peace. Here you go. And they're going to get raped more because they don't do anything about the actual rapists. They just make a safe zone for women to go run to and hide. How sick is that? How sick is that, folks? All I want is for every woman to be safe and not have to ever worry about a gang of rapists chasing after them and raping them in public one by one. I don't want any woman to ever have to worry about that. Ever. Ever, 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 ever. And you have a woman here tweeting out something about that. Barbaric game-raping hordes of men. That's because it's a fact. It is true. It is going on every day in Germany, and this woman is sick and tired of it, and she's standing up for other women. What is wrong with that? Why do they not want to actually protect their women? They just want to have a little safety zone for them to run to and hide. It's incredible. Incredible. Let's go to this next article. This is from apnews.com. Iran protests have violent night, at least 13 dead overall. Then you have this one from Yahoo.com. The latest: Trump tweets new support for Iranian protesters. Goes on to say here. Trump tweeted Sunday that it looks like Iranians will not take it any longer. The USA is watching very closely for human rights violation. Trump's tweets the previous day angered Iran's government, leading the foreign ministry spokesman to say the Iranian people give no credit to the deceitful and opportunist remarks of U.S. officials or Mr. Trump. Oh, deceitful? Yeah, you piece of garbage. No, the USA is watching you, Iran, and we are going to stand up for the people out there being killed and water cannoned because of their free speech. Absolutely disgusting, and Trump is standing up for them, and that's an incredibly great thing. Then we have this one out of Fox News. Trump says time for change in Iran as deadly protests continue. President Trump took aim at the hardline regime in Iran Monday, tweeting, "It is time for a change," and blasting the Obama administration's controversial nuclear deal as the death toll from the protests around the Islamic Republic rose to 12 people dead now. Trump, who clashed with the Iranian President Hassan Rouhani in recent days as the protests have continued, opened 2018 with a Twitter broadside at Tehran's authoritarian mullahs. Iran is falling at every level, despite the controversial nuclear deal that Obama administration made with Iran in 2015. The great Iranian people have been repressed for many years. They are hungry for food and for freedom. Along with human rights, the wealth of Iran is being looted. Time for change. That's what Trump tweeted out most recently. And then the most recent headline from RT.com is out today. 9 more people killed, 100 arrested overnight as nationwide protests in Iran continue. This is from local media out of Iran. 9 more people killed, 100 arrested overnight for peacefully protesting, as they are now water canning and killing people. About 450 people have been arrested in the last 3 days for their free speech in Iran as they protest their corrupt government. So we will continue to cover that tomorrow and possibly later tonight as it develops there in Iran. And we finally have a president actually standing up for them. Then we have this one from ZeroHedge.com. Kim Jong-un, quote, "A nuclear button is always on my office desk." That is more threats coming out of North Korea. Then we have this headline out of APnews.com. Media group, 81 reporters died, threats soared in 2017. This is talking about independent media. Threats are at an all-time high. At least 81 reporters were killed doing their jobs this year in 2017, while violence and harassment against media staff has skyrocketed, the world's biggest journalist organization says. In its annual kill report seen by the Associated Press, the International Federation of Journalists said the reporters lost their lives in targeted killings, car bomb attacks, and crossfire incidents around the world. More than 250 journalists were in prison in 2017. The number of deaths as of December 29th was the lowest in a decade, down from 93 in 2016. The largest number were killed in Mexico, but also died in conflict zones in Afghanistan, Iraq, and Syria. So that is just very troubling, especially as a journalist myself. But we can't be fearful, we have to be brave, and that's why I call my show Radio Bravery. You cannot let that stop you. We have to stand up in the face of tyranny and the face and the threat of danger, because that's what being a true journalist is all about. No fear, just bravery. Now I'm going to go to this video from John Bown. This is a compilation of Texas Democrat Representative Sheila Jackson Lee has had a career loaded with grandstanding, half-truths, blanketed racism, and sheer hubris. The video is entitled "The Raw Hubris of Privileged Sheila Jackson Lee." And we're going to go to that video right now from Infowars.com reporter John Bown, who always has extremely informative, very well compiled videos that I love to watch. And he's got a great voice as well. Let's go to that video.
Texas Democratic Representative Sheila Jackson Lee has had a career loaded with grandstanding, half-truths, blanketed racism, and sheer hubris.
And frankly, maybe I should offer a good thanks to the distinguished members of the majority, the Republicans, my chairman and others, for giving us an opportunity to have a deliberative constitutional discussion that reinforces the sanctity of this nation and how well it is that we have lasted some 400 years.
Signers Hall, where we are right now, has 42 statues showing you the moment of the signing of the U.S. Constitution on September 17th, 1787.
Operating under a Constitution that clearly defines what is constitutional and what is not. He is incompatible with the office and the leadership of this country. And yes, the idea that his continuous assault on women only compounds the fact that I would ask him, it's a job that he does not seemingly like, he needs to resign. This is a disgrace. Stop talking about foolishness. Be a leader and be the commander-in-chief and stop all of this. When are we going to get the kind of leader that is deserving of the American people? I am sick and tired of it. I want a president. I do not want
Gentlelady is no longer recognized.
No. And don't harm my constituents because I'm calling on troops.
Get off the
Members are
stage.
reminded to refrain from engaging in personalities toward the president.
I've said the same thing as far as 10 years ago to the German people and to any population of people that is a declining population that isn't willing to have enough babies to reproduce themselves. And I've said to them, you cannot rebuild your civilization with somebody else's babies. You've got to keep your birth rate up. This Western civilization still is a superior civilization.
Congresswoman, what are your thoughts about that?
Casting aspersions on his so-called Western civilization. It is a racist, unbelievable statement that should not come out of the mouth of a member of the United States Congress. I stand here as a freed slave because this Congress came together. Are we going to be able to do it today to free America? I yield back.
Now Lee's lunacy has reached a height that challenges common sense.
I'm a queen.
The Daily Caller reported Jean Marie Simon, 63, accused United Airlines on Twitter of bumping her from a December 18th flight from Houston to Washington, D.C. in order to accommodate Lee. Lee responded with an angry Twitter tirade of her own Tuesday, accusing Simon of targeting her because of her race. Lee wrote, "Since this was not any fault of mine, the way the individual continued to act appeared to be, upon reflection, because I was an African American, seemingly an easy target along with the African American flight attendant who was very, very nice." Simon was on the last leg of her return trip from Guatemala when the incident occurred. In fact, she spent much of the 1980s documenting war crimes there in the wake of a military coup that saw thousands murdered, raped, and starved. She first traveled to Guatemala at the behest of Amnesty International. Simon is designated as a hardline Democrat by the DCNF. With all of this talk of white privilege, isn't Representative Sheila Jackson Lee's use of her ethnicity and her seat in Congress, even against a fellow hardline Democrat, an act of privilege? And if it isn't, how dare she not change her last name from Lee? John Bound reporting for Infowars.com.
Exactly. What a divider, just invasive, just really actually racist piece of garbage that Sheila Jackson Lee just wants to divide and conquer us all. Oh, how disgusting. I want that woman to be removed. She is just nasty. She is nasty. She is just negative. She is not good for this country. She is not good for uniting anybody. Replace her with Larry Pinckney or something, please. Let's move to this next article from the WashingtonTimes.com. Hollywood tries to save Earth, but moviegoers aren't buying the eco messages anymore. And it's got Al Gore here on the cover, the absolute liar and manipulator. Climate change got its close-up in 2017. A gaggle of films either name-checked Al Gore's biggest fear or built their narratives around it. The timing, in theory, couldn't be better for Hollywood bean counters. 3 major hurricanes, massive fires in the West, record-setting chills. Media reports routinely connected the disasters with a warming planet. Yet audiences stayed away from those films influenced by eco-concerns far, far away. Blade Runner 2049, Geostorm Downsizing, an inconvenient sequel, Truth to Power, and Mother, they all flopped. All climate change movies flopped in 2017 because people aren't buying your rhetoric anymore as we are in a global cooling period. Next article I'm going to cover here is from drroyspencer.com. U.S. average temperature plummets to 11 degrees Fahrenheit. That is the average temperature right now across the country. Then you have this one from weather.com. Arctic outbreak setting record lows as dangerously cold wind chills infiltrate plains, Midwest, and East. Arctic outbreak setting record lows. So that is out of weather.com, as we just cover every day more cooling records, more cold records breaking. Then you have this one from Yahoo News. UK may use taxes to get tech giants to do more to fight extremism, minister says. Britain may impose new taxes on tech giants like Google and Facebook unless they do more to combat online extremism by taking down material aimed at radicalizing people or helping them to prepare attacks. Yeah, it's about time, because Google and Facebook and Twitter don't want to do it themselves. They just want to let ISIS and terrorists and radical Islamists run rampant and make all their threats and gather in new troops every single day. But Ben Wallace accused tech firms of being happy to sell people's data but not to give it to the government, which was being forced to spend vast sums on de-radicalization programs, surveillance, and other counterterrorism measures. Quote, if they continue to be less than cooperative, we should look at things like a tax as a way of incentivizing them or compensating for their inaction. His quotes did not give further details on tax plans. The newspaper said that any demand would take a form of windfall tax similar to that imposed on privatized utilities by former Prime Minister Tony Blair's government in 1997. Wallace accused the tech giants of putting private profit before public safety. Absolutely, absolutely. I'm sick and tired of Google, Facebook, and Twitter just allowing these terrorists to run rampant and to collect other rampant psychopaths and just all they're trying to do is just throw this out. It's okay, all over Facebook and social media, just to make it normalized so that some crazy person will go and do it. And that is what they want, and they're just allowing it. Mr. Wallace's Facebook rejected the criticisms, of course. But quote, we should stop pretending that because they sit on beanbags and t-shirts, they are not ruthless profiteers, he said. Yeah, beanbags and t-shirts, that's exactly what Facebook is. They will ruthlessly sell our details to loans and soft porn companies, but not give it to our democratically elected government. Exactly. Ben Wallace is completely right on that, and he is moving to tax those tech companies if they want to continue to allow these terrorists to run rampant on their websites. Then we have this one from yahoo.com. Feds employ data-driven early warning system in opioid fight. This is out of the Associated Press in Pittsburgh. Goes on to say, the pain clinic tucked into the corner of low-slung suburban strip mall was an open secret. Patients would travel hundreds of miles to see Dr. Zielke, eager for what authorities described as a steady flow of prescriptions for the kinds of powerful painkillers that ushered the nation into its worst drug crisis in history. So yeah, this is basically an epidemic of doctors just throwing out drugs. At least one of Zykley's patients died of an overdose, and prosecutors say others became so dependent on oxycodone and other opioids that they would crowd his office, sometimes sleeping in the waiting room. Some peddled their pills near tumble-down storefronts and on blighted street corners in addiction-plagued parts of Allegheny County, where deaths by drug overdose reached record levels last year. And this is because of pharmaceutical drug pushers like this Dr. Zielke. Then this last article I'm going to cover on this very special edition of Radio Bravery Live, entitled Here and Howl, Why Hillary Clinton Needs to Go to Prison in 2018. This is from endoftheamericandream.com by Michael Snyder. Goes on to say here, in the United States, nobody is supposed to be above the law, and that includes our elected officials. If top politicians are permitted to break the law over and over and over again and get away with it, that sends an absolutely terrible message to everyone else in our society, and it threatens the legitimacy of our entire system of justice. Hillary Clinton has been caught red-handed mishandling classified documents. It appears that she greatly betrayed our nation during the Uranium One deal. Evidence has emerged that she has committed gross gross violations of campaign finance laws and the very deep corruption of the Clinton Foundation is well known. Hillary Clinton needs to be prosecuted and sent to prison as a member of Congress. I will do whatever I can to make that happen. Let's start by discussing Hillary's mishandling of classified documents. According to Fox News, they were classified documents among 2,800 work-related emails on Anthony Weiner's laptop that the State Department released on Friday, and this is fresh evidence that Hillary Clinton broke the law. Not to mention they were smashing hard drives with hammers in the DNC. I mean, you name it. You cannot make this up. Go and read this article for yourself, Why Hillary Clinton Needs to Go to Prison in 2018, endoftheamericandream.com. Michael Snyder is also running for Congress. He should have your vote in that state. I forget what state he's running in, but it's definitely important to get this guy in office because he is incredibly smart. He's been a special guest on numerous radio shows for years, always very articulate and informative. But this is our first episode of Radio Bravery Live in 2018, and it has been an incredible one. It's going to be a very, very, very beautiful year here and Howl. We were brought in by the most beautiful wolf moon, and again, this show is dedicated to my best friend, the love of my life, and the motivation, the motivator that has always been there since I got the show back up and running. She's the reason why this show is here now, and she's the reason why this show will continue forever. And I just want to thank her, and I want to tell her that she gives me my motivation and my strength, and always will, and I'm always going to continue becoming and being this man that I am now. And these shoulders are so strong now, and I'm so absolutely ready. And I love you all. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for listening live, youtube.com/RadioBravery. It has been a beautiful, beautiful day. It's going to be a beautiful day, and again, I'm going to record a little love song later, so you might hear that as well. But yeah, it's going to be a very beautiful year here, and Howl, that wolf moon was incredibly beautiful. I hope you saw it. Check out some pictures of it. You can see them on the dailymail.com. Now I'm going to take you out with another song. This one's by Gregory Alan Isaacoff, and it is entitled The Stable Song. Another beautiful one, a beautiful love song that I just really, really enjoy. And I don't know, these songs have changed my life. They've changed my love. They've changed my strength and changed my heart. And I just want to thank you so much. I love you. I'm here for you always. Here and Howl. When you're ready, I'm ready.
Remember when the songs were just like prayer, like gospel hymns that you call me.
Growing this beard back. It might be a couple days.
Come
That's all
down,
I'm saying.
sweet reverence, until my humble house and rain,
Disarm you with a smile. When you're ready, I'm ready. When you're ready, I'm ready. Patience is key. Confidence is important. Love cures all.
ring like silver, ring like gold. Ring out those ghosts on your high. Ring like clear day wedding bells. But with the belly of the beast and the sword that fell, we'll never tell. cold, some say. Watch the world spinning waves.
YouTube.com/RadioBravery. Thank you so much. I'm so grateful for you. I love you all. Thank you so much. This is going to be the most beautiful year we've ever lived. I know it. I absolutely know it. My heart is full. My hope is huge. Unabashedly, I am so ready.
I drank and sang and passed in the stable.
YouTube.com/RadioBravery. Subscribe today. Dancing news. Russian roulette radio. You never know what you're gonna get. See you tomorrow, folks.